Welcome to the fish tank.
Hey everybody, Fishman here, and welcome to another video. Fish Room Vlog Part 3. I'm actually enjoying doing these, and I'm glad there's enough interest in them to keep it going. I don't normally show much of what's going on in the fish room, just various projects I'm doing. So it's kind of interesting to show this side of it. This video is going to be, well, at least the first part of it, going to be about my live food cultures. I noticed a problem with my microworm cultures. There was an odor coming from them for the last few weeks, and that usually indicates that they've been contaminated either with a bacteria or a mold or a fungus. It's really difficult to tell, but because the microworms eat that stuff, it can get passed on to the fish. And I noticed a little bit of bloating in some of the fish, so I immediately stopped feeding the microworms, and now I'm in the process of subculturing them to get rid of that. But in the interim, I need to ramp up my other cultures so I can still feed the fish, baby fish mostly. Now, that means mostly it's going to fall upon my vinegar eel cultures at the moment, because it is pretty much the only other baby food I'm currently culturing. I know I do culture scuds and cherry shrimp for this sort of thing as well, but they're mostly in tanks, so I don't really have to do anything special for them. So the problem with vinegar eels, they're easy to culture, but they are slow. A microworm culture explodes. I mean, they produce tons and tons of microworms in a very short amount of time, whereas these guys take about 3-4 weeks to get going. And that's the current number. I have 5 cultures going, and it's just not enough. So I'm gonna subculture these and divide them up, and I'm gonna go up to 10 and see if that's going to be enough to at least carry a bit of the weight for the baby fish for the next little while. Also, the other thing I want to do is I'm going to try culturing other things. I'm going to try and find other organisms I can culture. I would really like to get a hold of some Daphnia and water fleas. I mean, a whole pile of stuff. So I'm going to, because it's summer at least, I can go ahead and do that sort of stuff, and I'm going to try and find what I can, and in future videos, hopefully, I'll have something to show for that as well. So what I've done here so far, I've taken those 5 existing cultures, and I took an airline and very slowly siphoned out just the worm portion, trying to keep all the sludge in the bottom, keep it from being stirred up. So this is just worms and vinegar, of course. And of course, because I started these quite some time ago, there's a fair amount of byproduct that they produce. Eventually, the vinegar gets broken down. It's an acid, and it gets broken down into a ketone, and that has a bit of a different smell to it. And it's just not bad, but it should be subcultured anyway, so it's probably a good time I just did that all by itself. So what I'm going to do is I've divided them, I pooled the whole amount, and now I'm just dividing it between the 10 instead of the 5, and then I'm going to top it up with fresh vinegar, which is mixed 50-50 with my RO water, so it should be perfectly fine. And here all I'm doing is just going to just balance it all out. Not really necessary. I could have just poured random amounts and then just topped them up, but I just wanted to make sure that each culture had, a good chance of getting going well. So that's all there is to it. It doesn't take very long. What I also did is I kept 2 of the old pieces of apple, and I put in 2 fresh pieces of apple for each culture. Again, I don't think it's really necessary, but I figured I would just do it that way. So this is very easy, and that's pretty much all there is to that. And as far as other cultures like Daphne and that sort of thing, I am currently I'm culturing a lot of green water, and I am going to be setting up on the top of some of my racks a 24-hour light system for really ramping up green water, and I want to use that to feed to other organisms. Like Daphne would be amazing if I can get a hold of that. But there are seed shrimps and there are other things, so I am going to, like I said, go out and try and find what I can. I also ordered some lenses, and I am going to attempt to make a, well, not, let's just call it a makeshift microscope, so I can actually have a look to see what's actually in these cultures, and that helps when it comes to subculturing these things, making sure that you're not adding something that's going to be harmful for your baby fish. So that's all future stuff. The other thing I wanted to cover today is I'm going to do a quick update on the Troublesome fish separator I put together for last week. It's obviously empty because the male's in his own aquarium at the moment, but I wanted to leave it in there with Mom. Here she is here with her babies, just to see if, first off, if this is going to suck up any babies, which it hasn't, which is good, and also to see if it really interrupts any kind of behavior. But it's amazing what fish can get used to, and as you can see, the babies are running around, eating, and doing just fine. So that's actually good. The last thing I want to cover today is a viewer request. It came from Colin. He had an idea, and he gave me the details for a air pump silencer, and I thought I'd try it out. So this last bit is actually going to have sound from my fish room. That is the air pump. And then I'm going to go through just putting a hose on it. I'm going to put the silencer that he suggested. And to do this video, I had to unplug absolutely everything in my fish room. Because, well, you'll see at the end. The last clip of this is actually kind of amusing. So this is just a quick knockoff. I took pieces that I had and jury rigged this, just so it had the bit of polyester wool in there. And you can see it actually does really quieten down the pump. I'm going to stop talking in a second so you can actually listen to it yourself. It works. And if it were done properly, like that's just, like I said, just jury rigged, it would actually quieten down the noise that comes from a pump. So this is going to be what comes out of it, just with, that's just the airline tubing, and that's the noise coming out of it. So it does make it quite a bit quieter. And that's actually really cool. Thanks very much for that, Colin. For my fish room, it's not really going to help because I have quite large air pumps, and most of the noise comes from bubbling. But for this sort of thing, it's great. And I'm going to give you one more clip with the silencer, and just listen. It does reduce it quite a bit. That's quite a nice reduction all by itself. And here it is again. There you go. The last clip is going to be me plugging in all the things that are in the fish room. It's quite a few things, and actually, personally, I don't like a quiet fish room. It just feels weird, because to me it's always making noise and doing stuff. But leave comments, let me know what you think. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to go around and plug in all the water pumps. There are currently 3 large ones running the racks, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 smaller ones running the various projects I've done. And you'll gradually hear the increase in the sound of water flowing. But that's just part of what's going on. So as always, if you like this style of video, definitely leave comments, like, subscribe if you want, and always let me know what you think of what's going on here. So here I'm going to say all the water pumps are on. All the water pumps are on. And then there's only one thing left to do, and that is to plug in the 2 fish room running air pumps. The pumps themselves actually make very little noise. It's not really noticeable, but then again, with just the water flowing like that, it is enough to mask that sort of thing. But anyway, again, it's going to be quite the increase. It'll be coming up here shortly. I'm going to plug in one and then plug in the other, and then you'll see the ramp up of noise. The first one is probably about 6 or 7 feet away from the camera or the phone. So that is actually a normal level of noise. But unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever you want to call it, this is right up against the other rack. So you're going to hear a big increase of bubbling right now. There you go. And that's my fish room. That's everything running. So, let me know what you think of the noise. Like, to me, it doesn't bother me. I'm used to it. Oh, here we're going to have a comment.
Yeah, there we go.
So, thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video, and bye for now.